Hey there, and welcome to what is bound to be the first episode on our channel and the first chapter in our journey. The plan is to redo our backyard. As you can see, it's quite a mess right now. there's no plan, no organization in it, but we're going to redo this and turn it into a food forest according to permaculture principles. That's the plan. So let me show you around a little bit to show you what it looks like right now. Yes, when we bought this property, they had this beautiful concrete path here all the way. Let me show you back to the deck. We got most of it removed, but yeah, absolute disaster. So that's our deck, kitchen door. We have a small house. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that we bought this property a year ago and we're going to do this right now. No, we bought this quite a while ago. But we never got to the point where we were actually able to think about turning this into a food forest. So uh, I'm not kidding you, but for the last 5 to 10 years, we did prepare ourselves. We watched a lot of YouTube videos. I read a lot of books, watched a lot of movies, documentaries about permaculture, food forest, horticulture, things like that. So you're probably wondering why now? What changed? Well, uh, originally we had planned it a couple of years ago, but COVID hit us, just like most people, hit us pretty hard financially, and so we had to postpone things because the first step that we wanted to do is actually remove most of our trees, if not all. We actually have more trees than this. So when we bought the property, we had about 8 trees. You can see some stumps there on the left. Underneath that cage with the growing bed in there, there's also a stump. We we probably had more than 8 trees in the back garden here. And well, I don't have anything against trees. The problem with trees is, especially if you have a really tall elm that is also really bad shape. Squirrels and the bugs got to it. I think that's about 75, 80 feet high. Uh, the elm basically has damaged the 2 trees on the left here by branches that fell on top of the other trees. This is a crab apple. Crab apple is still in decent shape. The one in the back is just really, really bad shape. I think it's a box elder. Not 100% sure because we get different feedback from everybody that looks at it. So we do think it's a box elder though. Yeah, that was a problem. We also have a really big tree, tall tree, I should say, behind the shed. You can see it go up there. And yeah, let me walk some further in. You're probably gonna hear dogs barking, but that's part of life here. So this weekend we actually took the part of the chain link down. We were going to keep the chain link on this is basically the edge of our property here. So we're going to keep that one there. But we had a little bit of what was called a dark run apparently by the previous owners. So that has to go because we're going to turn that area into a chicken coop. And that is something that will pop up down the road. Not right now, not this year, because we financially cannot afford it. But yeah, you can see the chain link on the back there. And on the left, we have a wooden fence. So this is basically our property. I think we're sitting on a quarter acre. So the back garden is probably, I don't know, 60% of that. We have also a front garden that will feature in another video that my wife is working on. But yeah, you can see the mess. This is all the mess that was a result of taking part of that chain link fence down. The posts are, people that work with chain link, they know that this is going to be a real pain in the butt to get these out because they actually have concrete on the bottom and I couldn't even move them. So I have to look into that. I know there is some way that you can kind of fulcrum lever, use a rod as a lever with a strap, a ratchet strap attached. I've seen a video of that, pretty cool. But I can't move these things at all, so I think I will probably break the rod that we would use to get these lifted. But we'll make it wet and we'll dig it out if that has to be done because I want to get rid of those. That is for the chicken coop there. So let me actually show you some of the trees here. Because like I said, I have nothing against trees, but the problem is with all these trees is that the moment they are, well, if spring hits, summer hits, and the leaves are on there, this back garden has no sun. We're talking from that angle all the way to that is no sun, none whatsoever. Only late in the afternoon we have a little bit of sun. And as a result of that, well, first of all, you can't grow anything here. So we have some little bit, well, let's call it a little bit mini greenhouse here, cold frame. I made a cage here. This gets some sun. And then we have some beds here. The bed there with the wooden branches around it, the wooden trunks, whatever you want to call that, didn't work at all. Because the moment the crab apple has leaves, there's no sun falling on that anymore. So that's a disaster. But yeah, the moment these trees have leaves, this is all literally covered in shade the whole day. And as a result of that, it's very moist, very damp. We have an overload on pencil bugs, pill bugs, roly-polies, whatever you want to call them. The moment we plant something, it gets eaten by pencil bugs or roly-polies. Even though roly-polies normally don't focus on that kind of stuff because they like old wood and old cardboard and stuff like that. That's their preference. But no, we were never really lucky. So again, you're probably wondering why now? What changed? Well, we actually put the order in to have this elm tree removed, and this spruce. We have two spruces close to the house. Let me walk our way so I can show you that. There you go. So the one on the left, I think, is a blue spruce actually. And again, I keep repeating myself. I have nothing against the thing, but it just takes up so much space, so much sunlight. And then the other one on the right, that one is going to stay for now. It's going to be very likely the next street is going to go. The reason being is that you might even be able to see it here, is that it's leaning towards the house. And that's a big one. And I did notice the last couple of years, because part of permaculture is that, especially if you want to build a food forest, you kind of need to know where the wind is coming from, where the sun is going, the soil conditions and things like that. And the last couple of years, we definitely had an increase in wind, especially in April, to the point of almost like a weekly storm or whatever it is. So this one is leaning and tilted towards the house, so it makes us very uncomfortable, because we had not planned to touch that one at all, but it actually moved really high up into our list of priorities. So it's very likely going to be the next street that's going to go, and that will then, if you can see the shade already, it will free up a lot of space and allow more sunshine to fall on that area where the other spruce is. So that is going to be good. So we did place the order to have that elm removed and that spruce. I'm not going to share the numbers with you, but I can tell you that it costs an arm and a leg, because it's not as if I can do this myself, especially not the elm, 75, 80 feet high, if not more. And yeah, I value my life and my health too much for me to do it myself, so we have to hire some professionals, and that costs money. So this year we are financially ready for this, and that will actually then hopefully spearhead our project, because this is going to open up this whole area here. And that's going to be one of the next videos, the day after everything has been removed. So the thing is that we're financially not really able to get the stump removed yet. That's quite expensive as well. But from the blue spruce, we do have the stump, or at least that's the plan. We're going to remove the stump, and then this area is going to be completely free, and we're going to temporarily plant something here while we figure out our layout, because that's going to be the next step. We did order already some stuff that we want to keep, that is going to be part of our food forest. We're kind of going to try to split it up into food guilds. People that are familiar with that, they know what it is, of course, but people that are not, how do I explain this? The food guild basically consists of several layers of, well, growth, vegetation. So for example, you have the trees, the bushes, the vines, the ground cover, usually the herbs, things like that. But we'll get to that in another video. So the things that we did order are some fruit trees, because I have nothing against trees, but we're going to replace these with some productive trees that are doing well in Colorado, because that's where we're at. In Colorado zone, well, officially I think it's 5B, 6A, which is quite a difference between those zones, but I think we're right on the edge of 5B, whatever it is. And it's pretty, I would call the weather extreme around here. So in the summer, it can be well over 100 degrees. In the winter, this winter, we had several days of minus 12 Fahrenheit, which is about minus 28 Celsius, I think. So that is pretty extreme. So it's not as if you can grow coconuts here or anything like that. But yeah, if you have a warm zone, then you can kind of adjust easily. But yeah, we need plants and perennials that survive the winter at minus 12. And we need plants that do well in drought, even though we do want to water. I mean, you know, the water is an issue basically in every part of the world right now. So we do want to limit that. That will actually be discussed more by my wife when she shows the front yard off, because that is basically it's a native flower garden, native plants from Colorado, and really focus on drought tolerant plants that don't need a lot of water. So she will talk more about that aspect. But yeah, so that is the plan right now. That's going to be the first step. These 2 trees removed, plant some fruit trees and some bushes. We got some of them already here, and we got some already all ordered. So they are still going to be coming in. But yeah, that is the first episode, I would say. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a multi-year plan. It's not as if this is going to be done in 1 year, but yeah, we're thinking about probably 3 to 4 years, as long as there's no financial disasters popping up. And that should be doable. So we probably want to put some chickens down, and yeah, let me show you the back. The dog is going to be barking, but it's not our dog, but so you can kind of see here the mess that we have. This has to be cleaned up. You can see that area there. So that is the area that we plan on using for the compost bins. We'll just have to find a couple of pallets. Usually you can pick this up at people's houses that are on a neighborhood app. We're on next door, so pick up some pallets, make some compost bins. Something that my wife is really looking forward to. Don't ask me why. This is where we did the compost the past year. Most of it is gone because we already put it on our, well, limited number of beds that we have. So we have this bed, which is, well, basically we call it the perennial herb bed, but the only thing perennial in here is the chives so far. So we have a garlic chive here. And yeah, I don't think anything can kill chives, to be honest. Not even minus 20 Fahrenheit, I think. This is normal chives. And over here, let's see, there's the normal chives as well. We had on there, the little twiggies here, we had spearmint, and unfortunately that did not come back. At least there's no sign of it. Let me see what this is. You know, there's something here. That is very interesting, because that might actually be part of spearmint there. So it might actually have spread. Oh, that's interesting. Because mint is notorious for spreading and, well, taking over a whole garden if you're not careful. So let's keep an eye on that, because yeah, that might actually be spearmint. I didn't even notice that before I recorded, because there's really nothing going on over here. See that? Nothing going on. So I guess that might be actually one of those rhizomes that actually lived. Keep an eye on that. Well, it's still, it's actually March. We're on March 4 today. So there's no guarantee that this is going to live. The last frost date in Colorado is usually around May 8, May 10. And so we have to keep our fingers crossed for that one. In here we have 2 blueberries. This one is a Patriot. And that one actually is doing well. Already as buds, it's already getting leaves. The one in the back there is actually a Northland. And I don't think it made it through the winter. We did try to put it in this, well, let's call it cold frame to protect it, but I don't think it made it. For the rest, there's some little project here. We have some green onion. It's not the best place right now, but we put it down and we'll see when it pops up. But this is the beets, and then we have some lettuce there that my wife's working on. It's a little bit early, but we'll see if it works. And then here on the left, we have a serviceberry, Juneberry. It's the Saskatoon serviceberry, Juneberry, Chadberry, whatever you want to call that thing. And I'm not sure if it made it through winter. We'll figure that out. We'll see that. It's still early. We're still expecting frost, by the way. So like I said, keep our fingers crossed. Let me quickly show you the side of the house. Yeah, you can see we have all this river rock gravel here. It's a disaster. So I think the previous owners didn't care much about gardening, so they slammed that down everywhere as a way to, alongside the concrete, to do some pathing. But yeah, I cannot really blame them for not caring about the backyard, because all these trees, there's not much you can do. So ultimately, those trees will all be gone, replaced with productive trees, fruit trees, hopefully all native to Colorado. Alternatives to a nice productive area that is also better for the insects and wildlife. But let me show you the side of the house. Okay, so this is something that we did last year. This was all gravel. We replaced it with soil and compost and blah blah blah. We're not doing much with this because this is going to be the area where the trees have to be moved, have to be cut down. So the company has to move all these big trunks and everything through here. So we kind of felt like, if we put anything down, it's probably not going to survive right now, which is okay. So we didn't really focus much on this. The only thing that we really cared about is, I put some cages around it to protect it for the incoming work that the guys are going to do. But this is a gooseberry, and I don't think it looks really, really great, but it's alive. And I'm a big sucker for gooseberries. I love them, especially gooseberry pie. But you can see the green leaves here. Little leaves already coming out. Part of me wishes that it hadn't happened yet, because it's still going to freeze. But more importantly, on the bottom, there's a lot of activity on the bottom. So that allows me to prune it eventually and kind of bring it in back a better shape. Because I don't think it's supposed to have those whitish, light-colored trunks, but apparently they're alive, because there's a lot of growth coming out of this one. To the right, we have another one. We didn't think this was going to actually live and survive the winter, but you can see there's some growth as well. Again, I didn't think that anything was going to grow out of the white trunks. I'm glad I didn't clip them off. But yeah, there's stuff growing. So put some cages around it to protect them. Hopefully they don't get trampled or destroyed by all the wood that has to be dragged over here and stuff. But yeah, and that's basically the plan. It's going to be a journey. And yeah, that's going to take a couple of years. And we figured, well, since we can get a start going, let's create a YouTube channel, because we have been following several YouTube channels of people that do the same thing, that turn their backyard into a food forest, permaculture, things like that. So I would say we have a lot of, it's actually a squirrel. Oh, ran off. No, it's up there. Between the back and the box elder. Because yeah, they destroy a lot. So usually the channels that we follow, they don't talk about squirrels. They usually have rabbit problems or deer problems or stuff like that. I would say in Colorado, we really have a squirrel problem. I mean, it wouldn't be very surprising if we would have videos that show 5 squirrels in the backyard at the same moment. It's just amazing. So, yeah, I would say that we theoretically know quite a bit. We've read a lot, watched a lot, but practical experience, we simply don't have much. And I think that's why it's going to be an interesting journey, because there's always going to be problems and issues that you run into, like we had with the chain link already. Getting a chain link fencing away was easy, but the post, we knew it was going to be hard, but we didn't think that it was going to be that hard. I thought I would be able to at least move it a little bit, but no, that's not the case. So either way, thanks for watching. I'll keep you guys posted.